this morning, just a whisper on my lips, but you know my head was screaming loud enough for two. And after trying so damn hard to drive the day out of the night, you know the sun came round to find me, collect the debt that's due. And he told me I was keeping too much time asleep inside, so I went walking out on Main Street with my eyes all open wide, and I was hungry for a taste of something I was hiding for time. Tried to start a revolution, and all I got was this old rhyme. You know, some days you wake up wrong, you're like a half-developed song. All your pieces, they don't seem to get along. Still you rise to face the day with all the rules and all the ways you try to keep yourself bending close to breaking. Take stock of all these chances you are taking. Hey, when all you got is questions and a pocket full of time, you know it's hard to keep from ending up down on the welfare line. There's so many roads to choose from, and why you just can't tell, but all the boys down at the crossroads say that this one leads to hell. But you know, last night at the bar, I guess I made more than I spent, but all that money ain't enough to pay the rent. Sure, it adds up in the tip jar, and it's enough to buy some smokes and rent a cheap motel. And if that sun comes up tomorrow, I guess it's just as well, 'cause we're just trying to get a glimpse. Take a look under the sheets, and there'll be time to make a face for all the faces that you meet. Oh, and time for sharing secrets, the wishes we have made. There'll be time to lay your head down in the shade. But you know, some days you wake up wrong, you're like a half-developed song. All your pieces, they don't seem to get along. Still you rise to face the day with all the rules and all the ways. Try to keep yourself bending close to breaking. Take stock of all these chances you are taking. That's all it means. I actually didn't write a set list. I'm real bad about that. So I'm just kind of going off from the seat of my head here, which is not a real saying. I just got back from a trip to Portland where I was playing with a rock band. It was a very different thing than this. So maybe I'll play a song that's a little more indicative of something like that. It was a lot of fun. We had this like crazy, weird rock saxophonist that kept sitting in with us too. It was pretty cool. But one of the last nights I was there, I went to an open mic, and I played that last song because I tried to play another song, and I forgot all the words. And I was standing there, and I was like, oh man, I hate it when that happens. It happens more frequently than I wish. Let's see. The Holy Ghost and all his friends throwing out their useless battle plans. Well, peace be with you in the last statement. Look just like like bullets in a gun. The earthly sinners close their eyes. Elected leaders they could idolize. They said we've come too far to compromise. They said what's done is done. Don't it make you wanna rock and roll? We couldn't play that song today. We're swimming in the foreign policy. We missed the irony anyway. Still they're singing sweet and soulful. Just can't recognize the words. John, the relevance is gone. Got a scarecrow for a song, but we can't move a single bird. I voted for the living end. I heard a young one tell an older man, I'll have a mansion in the promised land. The revelation's at the door. I saw posters choosing sides. Not one person seemed to have it right. Still they agreed that it was worth the fight. They just can't take it anymore. Don't it make you wanna rock and roll? Twist and shout the blues away. We're on the edge of someone else's dream. We're probably standing in the way. Still they're singing sweet and soulful. Just can't recognize the words. John, the relevance is gone. Got a scarecrow for a song, but we can't move a single bird. Stolen saviors in the streets, dropping bombs in foreign neighborhoods, while half the world is fast asleep. Still singing sweet and soulful, sick and spinning in the sound. John, the relevance is gone. Sold our spirit for a song and left it buried in the ground. So we had a very interesting development right before I left. We got temporary custody of a baby that is now 4 weeks old, and you know, it's one thing to plan for 9 months to take care of a little baby, and it's one thing to get a call. Says, "Hey, come home. We got a little baby at home." And then try to figure out how that works. It's always been fun. I figured I had to stand up tonight because if I sat down, I would probably fall right asleep. It's been quite a long little bit of time, but I expect I'm going to learn a lot. I'd written this song a while back about like a father and a son, and I'm starting to get glimpses of what I was trying to maybe talk about, I guess now. Just the need to want to like impart some kind of wisdom onto something, you know? So this is me talking through somebody else, eventually talking to somebody I know, I guess. I don't know. Drop it down another gear. Roads are slick this time of year. Curve will come up quick, send us flying. You know I've been around, I traveled up this way and down. No rush out here, it's worth the chance of dying. The tracks are flat and worn, so let them guide you. The scars will leave a compass on your skin. You'll find a higher place that you can climb to. Just leave a trail to show them where you've been. See those smooth spikes on the wheel, that's experience you feel. White knuckles gripping down and holding tight. Stayed on the road for days, truck stops and KOAs. This dashboard picture got me through each night. The edges rounded down, the image faded. Two children and a wife all hand in hand. My place behind the lens insinuated by a shadow and a footstep in the sand. But don't it all seem to pass like a spring storm on the glass? If you weren't there, you'd swear it never rained a drop. But outside looking in is where we're left to start again. You grew up before I knew it, and now I wish that you just stopped. Drop it down another gear till the dark clouds disappear. Just think how your mother'd end up crying. You know I've been around, I traveled up this way and down. No rush out here, it's worth the chance of dying. Yeah, that was my idea. If Guy Clark was like a truck driver and he was teaching his kid to drive, it wasn't a songwriter, but he still kind of talked the same. That's what I was kind of picturing what he might say. And it was interesting, this past week while I was gone, and we've thought about kids before, but it's always been in a very, very abstract sense, like, oh, if this happens, we'll do this and we'll do that. But it's very interesting, it's a whole another world to say, oh well, if this was ours, damn sure wouldn't be going to Portland for a week. A little baby hanging around. So when we lived over here, my wife Rachel, she used to ride her bike all the time, everywhere. And she did this one thing where she did this crazy thing when she rode to Austin with a whole bunch of folks for the MS 150 deal. And while she was kind of training for that, she would come home and she would tell me, like, she would kind of gauge her day based on, whether the wind was blowing in her favor or not. And she started to develop these codes for what that means. So I'll come home and I'm like, well, how was the ride today? She's like, oh man, it was like Bob Seger all the way. I was riding against the wind. But then when she was having a good day, she didn't have a shortcut for something to say. So I wrote a song for her for a good day. And since she's not here, she's at home watching after the little guy. So I'll sing it. So I'm sorry about that. She sings it way better than I do. But anyway. Riding with the wind, sleeping in the clouds, thinking that the whole world stops when you roll your windows down, climbing through the trees, hanging on a limb, chasing it on until you find yourself again, riding with the wind. Don't sing very much. If I forget words every once in a while, I hope you forgive me. staring down the loaded gun like some white dove on the wire, talking with a ghost, spinning on the page, floating through the friendly fire and the white lights of the stage. And then time stands still, your heart beats slow. It's the familiar chill when it's time to go. Flagging down a car, leaning in the wind, chasing every broke down dream like the past don't mean a thing. Laughing at the sun, dancing in the light, going where the sidewalk ends and the dead flames reignite, riding with the wind, riding with the wind. Thanks a lot. So it's August out of nowhere, right? I was not expecting it to come this soon, man. Time just slips the hell away from me. I wish we could do something about that, but this song is not about anything like that. The song is about hurricanes, and I figure since August we're getting there to the end of hurricane season, right? Which is like a monumentous event here in town, because we've gone this far, and hope I'm not jinxing anything, but so far so good, you know what I mean? We actually wouldn't have ever lived in the Heights if Ike hadn't come through and kicked us out of our apartment. So I guess I gotta kind of thank the hurricanes a little bit, because we sure liked it when we were living over here. This song is about somebody who had less of a good time after the hurricane came and kicked them out of their house. Running around in a different town, but the lights don't flicker quite like New Orleans. And I'm luckier than most, I guess. Got a tank of gas, paycheck in my jeans. Some were hunkering down, and I was Texas bound on that long black stretch of road I once roamed. But now I'm looking around and I can't remember how I called this concrete garden home. Man, I left town when the rains came. I just kept finding less reason to stay. But there's times I wish I hadn't floated away. Over the bridge and past Old River, zip to Houston town. Oh, right back to that life I knew was keeping me down. Yeah, there's miles and miles of Texas, Lord, but that ain't all I've seen. 'Cause if it's pride, I'm proud. If it's blood, I'm bound to that city of New Orleans. In 75 I was staying alive, turning cards to cash and blowing it all on dope. But I got too deep, so I just headed east to the swampland, searching for my father's ghost. And I rolled in a gambler, thinking sure as hell thing would stay that way. But there was something in the Acadian wind, blew my luck every time I sat to play. And it's there I met my sweet Louise. She was born a red stick girl, settled in the quarter like an oyster pearl. Over the bridge and past Old River, safe from Houston town. Oh, protected from that life I knew was keeping me down. Yeah, there's pretty girls in Texas, Lord, but that ain't all I need. 'Cause if it's pride, I'm proud. If it's blood, I'm bound to that city of New Orleans. I was traveling west down old I-10. Cars were going to stop and go. And their angry drivers burning up were telling show and tell show. So I put a call to my old friend Paul, looking for a place to rest my head. It's my first night back and I'm cooking smack in a barroom filled with gambling fools instead. Man, the levees broke when the Bloods came, and I'm left standing 7 hours away, drinking beer where the burned out junkies play. Over the bridge and past Old River, neath the lights of Houston town, all wrapped up in that life I knew was keeping me down. Yeah, I'm high and dry in Texas, Lord, but that don't mean I'm clean. 'Cause if it's pride, I'm proud. If it's blood, I'm bound to that city of New Orleans. If it's pride, I'm proud. If it's blood, I'm bound to that city of New Orleans. Show. So hold on, that's a song on my first album. I guess it did so well it's gone digital. So, which is a sad way of saying it's like practically out of print, but you can always get it online. And this song is the title track off of it, and I play it to say that we appreciate you guys hanging out here very much. And we are playing for the things in the we're playing for the things that you find in your pocket that you have a little bit too many of and you end up putting in the tip jar. It's kind of it's how the things walk around here tonight, and this song is a reflection of that. And did you ever realize that when you live on the east side of town, that always happens to be the side of town that's kind of like a little bit more run down than the other side? Like when I lived in Austin, it was the east side. When I lived here, it was the east side. Lived in San Antonio, it was the east side. And I kind of feel like, the world has got something against that particular cardinal direction, What's going on with that? Maybe it's something about the sun rising and setting or something, I don't know. This song tries to plumb those depths and figure that little question out. Last night I dreamed again about North Carolina, coming down from the mountain, coming in from from the cold. I had me a hound dog, I had me a banjo. We could lay it down double time, play all night long, singing songs about old John Henry and all those rails that he had to drive. Oh, and all of the while there's a steam engine rolling behind. And then those sirens, they caught me sleeping to their long and moaning sound. And I'm just living on tips and compliments, and I dive on the east side of town. Now the bars are all closing, I ain't quite yet tired, so I packed up my banjo, lit out for a drive, and I rolled down the dirt road. As I rolled down the window, I swing low on the radio, and I was humming along. And I drove right up to our old houses. Lord, everything had changed, and it struck me so funny, 'cause I sure do look just the same. Oh, but I try hard not to blame all this running around. That's just how these things pan out when you're living on tips and compliments, and a dive on the east side of town. Last night I dreamed again about North Carolina, and they had me a new name just to pass it around. I lied to the waitress and told her I was from Texas. With the tip of my head, I tipped her at 20 and rolled out of town, singing songs about old John Henry and all those rails that he had to drive. Oh, and one day he found a strong woman to lay down beside. Oh, but crickets, they caught me sleeping to their soft staccato sound, and I'm just living on tips and compliments, and a dive on the east side of town. Thanks, please. Got a really comically short chord over here, just mostly for effect. All right, so I've been living in Houston for like over 10 years now, and it's been really cool. When I moved here, I thought I'd be here for like a couple of years, and then I'll convince the person I moved here for to move back to Austin. But luckily, we didn't stay together all that long. And I met a person that made me want to stick around town. And when after we'd hung out long enough, there's a certain period of time to where if you don't write a song for the person that you're with, and you're a songwriter, they start to wonder whether you're really going to hang out together for too much longer, or whether it's just a fleeting kind of thing. And if you don't write a song for said person, it's almost guaranteed to become a fleeting kind of thing. So I wrote this one, and it made all the difference. If one capo puts your guitar a little bit out of tune, two capos puts it way the hell out of tune. I found friends in alleys, and I've made friends with thieves. So I got time to spare if you'll take a walk with me. I'll tell you all my stories till we have to make our own. I think we'd be better off together than alone. 2 lifetimes full of lessons, heard our share of lies. You don't bring me no excuses, and I don't bring you mine. Bring me no excuses, I don't tell you lies. It's just dresses on a clothesline, a quiet valley where I swear I dreamed this day before, and you were standing there. Light fell on your shoulders, I drew a thankful breath. There were times I could have settled down, but I'm glad I didn't. Crazy on the midnight, coming on like a mirage. She's an open-ended question when the conversation drops. There's a sweetness and a sorrow in the iris of her eyes. And after seeing quite a lot of her, I still get surprised. I'm not always in my element, walking through downtown. I was raised where there were fewer bright distractions to be found. It's the smell of watered asphalt and the heavy Houston air. And I'd be lying if I told you that was all that keeps me here. It's just dresses on a clothesline, a quiet valley where I swear I dreamed this day before, and you were standing there. Light fell on your shoulders, I drew a thankful breath. There were times I could have settled down, but I'm glad I didn't yet. So we got a new album coming out I'm excited about. Actually, while I was sitting over here listening to Grifters and Shills, I was downloading the final mixes, and I'm pretty excited about it. There's some songs on there that we've been trying to record for a while, and there's some brand new stuff. I don't know. I never really go out of my way to be political or topical, but sometimes there's just things that come out that way, I guess. So I was thinking about this one idea. I was driving through on my way back home from a tour. I was going through Louisiana. I had plans to meet up with my buddy Brian Hudson in New Orleans. And so we sat at this park. It's like filled with all these statues and stuff. It was a wonderful, kind of beautiful day. And I brought a bottle of whiskey, and we were sort of sitting there, kind of like brainstorming ideas. And I had this idea for a song that I had a melody for, and a couple for first verse, and kind of a chorus. And the idea, I guess, is that I'm a big technology fan. I love technology. We're all in here on our computers, and I got a phone in my pocket, and it makes life easier, and I don't get lost as much as I used to. And it's wonderful. There's things that make your life easier. But at the same time, they can kind of like do something where they take away things that you didn't realize that you liked or you needed. And so I was thinking, maybe if we could find out a way to identify some of those things. Like it's okay to lose payphones, right? Like apparently they're doing something good with those in New York. They make Wi-Fi hotspots out of them and stuff. But it's like not okay to lose your privacy, Personally, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm the only one. So I tried to make the song about that kind of. It's a little different kind of type of song for me, so bear with me a little bit. A simple story. Time drifts by. Lights on the horizon get near. But in that changing, some things die. Sweet songs we may never get to hear again. So find a payphone and call me collect. Try to do anything without being tracked. You can't do it. Sleep as sound as your grandparents did. Save the world for your grandchildren's kids. You can't do it anymore. Dog-eared pages, precious line, information hiding on the shelf. Obligations, tensions high, trying to live like the strangers on the hill. So take a picture and call it your life. Sell your soul for a handful of highs. You can't do it. Spill the ink out and cover the page. Put the demons back into the cage. You can't technology song. Something like that. It was fun on this album. I got to play a lot more guitars and bass and stuff than I ever got to do before because I had people who I really trusted to do it, and this time I had myself, and it was interesting because I don't trust myself as much as I trust a lot of other people to play bass for sure. I'm not a bass player, but I play one on TV sometimes. Definitely not as good as Rebecca is playing bass. I saw this. This was a pretty cool thing over here. I love these little basses. These are awesome. They sound like this big and they look like that big. It's wonderful. Good to see you. Thanks for coming by the way, this is Tommy Lewis, you guys. He's also a local singer-songwriter, and he plays a lot around town. He travels a bunch, so you have to track kind of hard to find him. But if you get a shot, you should go and check him out. He's real good. It's good to see you. Yeah. Let's see. Oh yeah, I play this is a title track, I think, of this new. I wrote this song sitting in my van at a state park outside of Nashville because it's a lot cheaper to stay in a state park than it is to stay at a hotel, and you're expecting bugs already, so that's kind of a good thing. When you stay in a cheap hotel somewhere outside of Nashville, you're not expecting bugs, but you find them. So I went where you know your enemy a little bit more, I guess. It was really weird because there was nobody. There who seemed to be there for actual camping or commuting with nature because I got there. I remember when I was a kid, we used to go and do stuff like that, and we would stay, and we would meet all these new people from Minnesota and traveling around the country and all this stuff. And I was like, well, this is going to be great. I'm going to go, it's going to be reliving my childhood and stuff. But then I was walking around a little loop, and I'm looking at the campsites, and everybody had an RV, and I was like, oh, cool, man, I'm going to party with these folks. It's going to be great. But then they all had their little satellite dishes down at the bottom of the driveway, and I noticed pretty quickly they weren't into hanging out. They were just like watching TV out in the wilderness and catching up on their shows and stuff. And I was like, well, damn. So then I got kind of nervous, and I thought, well, these folks aren't going to like it if I'm hanging out being real loud because they're busy trying to watch TV. So I turned off all the lights, and I got in the van, and I turned off the radio, and I got real quiet, and I wrote this song. Here in the dark, slow and easy grin, setting up to lay it down. 3 sheets again, how the mind starts to wander as the evening crowd rolls in. Sitting here in the dark, sitting here in the dark, there's a secret code. You meet the man in the alleyway, lighten up your load. It's always one for the money and a few more for the road. Sitting here in the dark, here in the dark, trying to race the sun. cover of the moonlight, a stranger on the run. It's alright to watch the morning rising as the shadows come undone. Sitting here in the dark, sitting here in the dark. Man. It's weird. We just did this album and stuff, and I haven't really listened to much, but a little bit that I have listened to. We've got some different instruments on there, and Rachel does a whole lot more singing on it than she ever did. So we made it as kind of her and I kind of album. So like her parts, I want to sing the way she does it, and there's no way that's gonna happen. Or like I'll hear something and I want to play the piano part, and I haven't sat down enough with it to figure out how that goes yet. So I feel like it's all new again. I've got to go home and relearn my own stuff. Like this song, we didn't do the intro right, and I just couldn't go back and fix it, and I didn't want to be one of those oh man, let's just tune it, or let's just insert some space in there, because you can do all kinds of stuff these days with electronic tools. So I said, well, it's just jacked up. Let's just do a cold start. So I've never really tried to do that on this song, but I think I'm going to give it a shot. It could throw me completely off, but hopefully not. Don't deny myself a drop or two at dinner time. I won't admit to half the things you think I've never tried. I ain't no fool. You lift your head, they pull the trigger. It's the battles that you choose to keep you safe. The war is something bigger. I've lit out angry at the trains are passing by the way. Thrown my hands up and I hollered out for it to rain. The silence was strong, and I guess the message was delivered. Just a voice out in the wilderness, calling out to something bigger. And there's a single star makes the morning bright. When you pull the sheet, a million points of light, and they've been there all along. The old man rambled soft and low about his golden days, closed his eyes and drifted off to sometime far away. The whole room went cold. He said the angels come to get her. Another shovel full of tumbling dust, the road to something bigger. And there's a single star before the evening falls. When you pull the shade, oh, you can see them all, and they've been there all along. You've never been alone. Thanks, y'all. Yeah, thanks for dropping by, you guys, man. It's good to see you. I don't even know how long I'm supposed to go. That's one of those big questions. can do it. Thank you guys for listening, man. Thanks, big thanks to John and Rebecca, Rifters and Shills for hosting and for doing this thing and for definitely. You know, I've seen music attempted here multiple times, and this is as good a crowd as any I've ever seen. You know what I mean? Like it's better than average, I would say. And so this is very cool to see that, you know, people are real. I think a big part of it is that they sell beer and wine here now. So tell all your friends that it's more than just a coffee shop these days. I think it helps a whole lot, you know. And I had a song in mind and I totally forgot, but that is okay. Okay. You know, I'll play a fast one. I'm capable of playing fast songs. It's just not the thing that I do most frequently. But I haven't played here in like a good couple of years. This is a song I can play when I haven't been somewhere in a while, and I'm coming back. It's good to be back here. Don't know why I stayed so long, but I've heard sirens in my ear. Seen the midnight turn to dawn. Some say the world revolves around slow pull of the sun, but I'm learning it's the darker things get so moving done. You're probably wondering why I haven't thought to call, but I've had burglaries and mysteries that take too long to solve. I wish that I could tell you of the fortune and the fame, but there's a high cost of admission to the game we're trying to play. And it's the sin along the sidelines, straight and narrow ways, longer and it's tougher than they ever said it'd be. It's the palette of the headlines, color of the rain, real life things in shadows and the dark shade of the gray. It's like $200 million up there on that highway sign, and you're blinded like the shoreline to the hurricane's disguise. If you think that you could take it home for a pocket full of change, that's dumber than the actor that believes the world's a stage. There's a thimble full of stories that I can't quite talk about, but I know one day they'll lay me down and I'll just roll out. Some say the world revolves around slow pull of the sun, but I'm learning it's the darker things that get so moving done. And it's the secrets of the boardroom, hands that turn the page, and it's outside of your orbit like the satellite display. It's like flowers or like fireworks, dazzling they fade, and you're left with empty pockets and a darker shade of gray. 'Cause real life hangs in shadows and the darker shade of gray. So I guess this last one is like a leaving song, because you know, that's what we're doing, you know. And we've been trying to record it for like every official album that I've done, and it's just always never worked out. So I was really happy when we finally got it onto this one. It's the last song on the album because it's a leaving song. But it's like a see you later song. It's not like a, you know, going down the road feeling bad, I'm never going to see you again kind of thing. It's optimistic. It's a reincarnation kind of tune, I guess. So I hope you'll have a wonderful weekend coming up. It starts very soon. Thursday's the new Friday, as we all know. And please please keep coming out to these dunes. I know that John and Rebecca, they know so many folks around town. So who do you have next time? Do you know? Oh. Mark is cool, man. Mark was one of the first guys that I ever met when I moved to town, and he was so helpful. And he gave me my first gig ever, and I think he's done that for a lot of people. So that's really cool. You should come check that out for sure. Hey, thank you. Thanks for having me. I really appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks to the EQ folks, for taking a chance on things like this, and I hope things work out well for y'all. I can't see you, but I know you're over there. And thanks for bringing beer down into this neighborhood. Mozart will always be Mozart, just like disco will always be dead. But me, as long as I'm living, I'm changing with each drop of sweat that rolls off my head. And the falling will always be certain, but the landing don't have to be hard. Yes, and sometimes you'll find when you're knocked down a level, you're free to decide who you are, 'cause a new day is dawning with every day's end. We might be returning to clay, so make use of your lungs while you can. One thing I've read is true, the shade's bound to close on you, so turn another leaf over, all you broke down high rollers, and I'll see you the next time around. 'Cause you can never go back where you came from, all the dirt roads are highways now, friend. But it gets me to thinking this has already happened, and I'm just passing through once again. And that sign by the side of the railroad ain't changed since I lived here, it seems. But there's rust that keeps growing at the speed of a century. The grandkids might know what I mean, 'cause a new day is dawning every day's end. We might be returning to clay, so make use of your lungs while you can. One thing I've read is true, the shade's bound to close on you. Last words to my brothers, all you lost and you lovers, we'll see you the next time around. 'Cause you know Mozart, he will always be Mozart, a young man who went and laid himself down. Me, as long as I'm living, I'm changing with each drop of sweat that rolls off my brow. Oh, as long as I'm living, I'm changing with each drop of sweat that rolls off of my brow. Thanks a bunch, you guys. Hope to see you.